But then one thing that I saw as I was working is that when you are bringing up children, it's not just a matter of giving them education and just maybe dressing them, just providing the basic needs. There is more than that. Understanding that child, seeing who they are, nurturing them, empowering them, and helping them to tap the best potential out of themselves. Such that in this way, I found that you'll be able to understand children who are not academicians, because there are those children who really, like when you find children maybe in institutions like we are in, you find that there is a lot of focus on the child that is so bright, and you forget that even the children that are not so academically bright, they have something in them that you as the caregiver, or you as the mother, you as the whoever you are in the life of that child, that it is your responsibility to bring out.
Gifts and talents are given by God, but the person who implements those gifts must be willing to do it so that they can touch lives, they can impact on the deserving. And our guest today, the person who is here today, is a person who has lived a life of imparting on lives of children and other people. And this is the person that I would like to introduce to you on this show today. And I'm very excited because it's been a journey of more than 30 years of her experience. And I believe that a family will be encouraged, a family will be blessed, a family will move forward, a family will know what they can do to make their lives better. And without further ado, I would like to welcome Madam Florence Kinyo, and then we are going to move on so that she can tell us her very inspiring journey. Karibu Florence, over 30 years.
Yeah.
It started somewhere.
Yeah.
Before you became the mother of many,
Yeah.
you started being a mother of a few.
Yes.
Please take us back.
Yes. I would say that for me, coming to Kiambu, I came through a servant of God, Dr. Thomas Muther, the bishop of the Word of Faith Church, and just completed high school. I got born again. I got a personal encounter with God in the year 1988. I was in Form 3. Then after high school, immediately I joined the Reverend's Church Meru. In the Reverend's Church Meru, the pastor who was there was a close friend of Dr. Thomas Muther. So when he came seeking for somebody to come and help him with the children, I found myself, pale unafika, you don't really like, the heart was so ready for that. So when I was approached to come there, I didn't have time to think about it or to really wonder, do I really have to come or do I really not? My spirit was really convinced. My parents were not supportive of that because they really didn't understand. This girl, you've completed school. My other siblings who are, I'm the fifth born in the family. My other siblings were, all of us were doing well in school. They had just completed. My sister we completed together from 6 together. And she was waiting to join campus. And here I am also, I'm just there, waiting to continue with my education.
Yes.
And then I want to come to Kiambu to take care of children. And because I was this one young girl that really sold out my life to Christ, I was this person was very keen listening to what the Holy Spirit was saying.
Yes.
And my heart was so convinced.
Mm-hmm.
Go.
Yes.
My parents said no, but I convinced them that they have to come. Of course, they are the thoughts that they had concerning all that. You know, girls,
Yes.
these are young men who have come to pick me.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that is the conclusion they made. But then my spirit was,
Yes.
yeah, so convinced.
Yes.
Because maybe kind of like they would have felt, this girl, ni kuolewa ameenda kuolewa. Lakini my spirit, my life with Christ really convinced me.
Yeah.
So I came to Kiambu. I came in the house of our bishop. Take care of his children.
And now the family is like, you're going to take care of children instead of going to school.
Yes. But then I knew the conviction in me told me that nothing would be wrong. But you see, it's the conviction. I'm a young girl. I'm a young teenager. I was a teenager.
It's true.
And then I'm just still wondering now, you see, when you're a teenager, you are coming there, your parents are not for it. But then I knew God was in all this. And of course, you will understand that it was my divine appointment.
Divine appointment and also the aha moment.
Yes.
Yes.
So now I come to Kiambu. I sit in the house of Bishop. His children were just 2 years or something.
Very young.
And very young. And I become a member of his family because I'm also a kid. So I started taking care of those kids. Still planning. I would really call in different places where I was supposed to join school, college. And somehow there was that block. There is what I wanted, but that is not what God wanted me to become. Because there is, you see, there are the courses that you really want to take. And there is what your family really wants. Because everybody wants you to become, maybe to sit in the office and to do those great jobs because you're qualified for them.
The white collar jobs. Yes.
But then God somehow didn't open those doors. Even the doors Bishop trying to push me to, they never really opened because that is not what God had planned for me in life. So now I continue taking care of those children. And the following year, I joined college. But then I joined college to take finance and banking. And I went to college and I'm doing very well.
Going back to the bishop's house?
Yes, I want to go and still go back.
Yeah.
And continue. I'm doing very well in school. But then when we are about to do the exams, God makes sure that I don't really sit for the next exams. But somehow I still went on. But then this is not what really God wanted me to do. Yes, I was excelling in the college, but that's not the area God wanted me to excel in. So somehow that is not the job that I went to do. So now I continue here, and then I continued, of course, taking care of the children, and still learning. I continued, then after that, still in the church, I continued working in the children's ministry, in the junior youth, and the the youths. Then immediately after, when I'm still working and taking care of them, then I went to, that's the time even maybe when we came to know each other.
Yes.
When I was planning to go, when I was planning to go to Norway.
Yes.
Then I go to Norway. I'm taking a course mostly in leadership. And there is this leadership which we were being taught, leadership in leadership or ministry in both the secular and the spiritual world. And it became another eye-opener for me and an impacting time. And in Norway, people, in the Norwegian, in Oslo, people speak Norwegian. And I can tell you that I pulled grounds.
You learned Norwegian.
I'm coming there now. You tell me. You are the one to tell me if I learned.
I'm anxious to do.
So
to
here,
hear that. I'm anxious.
all the children in that ministry, because it was still in the college was still in a church setup.
Yeah.
The children was so much attracted to me.
There is something that is drawing them.
Yes.
To you.
And in the church, or for example, even when we were out there, all the children will come to me. The children don't speak English. Florence doesn't speak Norwegian. But we connected, we would communicate, and we would carry on.
Sign language?
Somehow, I learned languages a little bit easy. So there are some of the small things I learned from them. And I would speak, and they also try to speak
English.
But for all the time I stayed there, I connected with children so much. And I also connected with some of the people who had some, I'll call special needs, who would come to me. I was almost the youngest in the group that we were with. But somehow I also was able to connect with a lot of people. The children and the people I connected with, I found that mostly there is what they wanted from me. There is what they wanted me to give them. Not in terms of money, but in terms of help. In terms of assisting them in one way or another. And therefore now I started seeing that there is something that I had. More than just being a lover of children, it was more that God has given him a gift to, maybe a nurturing gift. Because then we walked on, we moved on. And that was 1993. I was living in a family with some small children. And even up to today, those children are my friends.
They also must be big now.
They are big. They are married. One of them is just pregnant with the 4th child now.
Wow.
And we are very good friends still.
Wow.
We brought them up.
Wow.
You also see the children of, I won't say just Josh and Dan.
Yes.
Even the other children that were coming to the homes,
yes.
we are still very good friends. Because we grew together, we nurtured together, we were able to connect.
Yes.
And that's why I say that my journey of understanding my calling in God began that time. The aha moment when I came to Kiambu. And then during those times, there was this idea that came with Bishop.
When you were in Norway? Or when?
That before I went to Norway, and immediately still after I came to Norway, there was this work now, the work that I normally do today. Bishop and a friend, he's a Norwegian, and they wanted to start this work, the work with the less fortunate children. And they were doing it now in a different way. They had started the work in Zaire, and now they wanted to start the work here in Kenya. And then they joined up with Bishop. And then in my journey, and after now staying with the children, still, you see, I was still going to school. The journey was that I'm helping him look after his children, but he's also nurturing me and helping me to become an independent adult. Just the independent adult, and somebody, of course, who has the skills to carry on in this life.
So he's empowering you.
He's empowering
even as
me.
you're serving in the family.
Yeah.
He's still empowering you.
He's empowering me because, of course, this was the intention of my parents back at home, irrespective of their status at that time. Because you see, like I told you, I'm the 5th born. So the other 4 had already gone through from 1 to up to Form 6. They were in the universities.
Yes.
So I was also following suit. But you see, hapa sasa nimetoka nyumbani. I've come here.
Yes.
I've come to do something that nobody, even my own self, and never thought that I would come and take care of somebody's children. But that was my passion. So now I'm here. So I've stayed with Bishop now for 2 years. And now there comes this time to start the work with the children. Now what now we call like giving them a home, a protection and care.
Yes.
And then guess what? I'm the one picked. And I'm picked.
Yes.
And don't, you know now you are picked to come here, of course, on a leadership role and on the caretaking.
Yes. Because he had observed you,
Yes.
what you are doing in the family.
Yeah.
He can see you have the skills, you have the passion.
Yeah.
So if somebody needs to be identified, why not the person who has it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I can still go back a little bit when I was living in his house.
It's okay.
He has looked, there is, that's all, some of the things that really touched my heart. I come into his house. I am a self-driven person. That one is something I can certainly say. So the house is like mine. So nobody tells me, wake up and do this. What you cook. There is the freedom. You can go to the shops. There was a shop you used to go to. Nobody cares what you ask for. You say that you have spent 20 shillings. You are given that 20 shillings. Nobody really follows because maybe they have served and they have found out my accountability. And I can say this thing really built me. I was a teenager, yes. But I found that because I was doing this thing and I've been given full authority, full mandate. The house is like mine. I would do it. If visitors were coming, nobody really can to tell me what to do. But I did it excellently. Because I found that I have people who trust me. People want to nurture me. People want me to become that person naturally who I am. So I was really like, I knew that wherever they put me, then they know that I have the capacity and the qualities to do that.
True.
So I'm still a young person, come from Norway. Come to, then it's the time to start
the work now. Yeah.
And now I am there. There was the process, of course, of what we call the programs, feeding programs that were done around Kiambu. And Kiambu, that time we were doing it to the street children because mostly we were targeting to help the street children. And we've done the feeding program for around 1 year or something.
Like how many did you start with? The children that were on the street that time?
There were quite many.
Okay.
But then when, you come and feed a lot of children in the streets. But then when you have to identify, you identify those children who are ready and they were in need of be a place to stay. So now the ones that were identified and we started with were 8 street
children.
Boys.
The boys.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember you said you had a connection with boys more.
Yeah. So it is the boys that we started with.
And I remember some of them.
Yes. Some of them are your friends even
they are
today.
my friends even today.
We were with one of them. He had to come just the day before yesterday. He was there.
Yes.
And I will come, maybe I'll come back to that story.
Okay.
And then we start with them. I was a young girl.
Yes.
They are just like my immediate small brothers.
Yes.
So you are dealing with 3 children. And these 3 children are almost your age. Because I can say that some of them we had a difference of like 2-3 years. So those are just my immediate younger brothers. And they have lived in the streets. And they have come here. And they have come here, they are looking at you as their mother. So you have to give, not just food, but of course you have to nurture them, you have to empower them, you have to remove the street life out of them. And it's not an easy thing.
I guess it's not an easy thing.
Yeah. But somehow we made it. And I can say that's where the name Auntie came from. Because even today, even the children I'm with, they call me Auntie. Because these boys, of course, even if they would view me as their mother, it's very difficult that your immediate young brother would call you mom.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the name I've carried even up to today. And of course, an auntie is a mother.
It is.
So So we start with these young, 3 youths, 8 youths, and they are at the Ark Children's Center.
That's what you are calling it then?
Yeah, that's what we were calling it then. We were in Kirigiti. We are renting some 6 rooms, which I wouldn't say that they were very good. Very, very humble beginning. And
I remember the place.
Yes. And I used to live with them there. So I was the mother.
This time you have moved from Bishop's house?
Yeah.
Now you are
I moved quite early, but still I used to be there. So this time when now I've the home started, I moved officially and started living
with them,
with the boys.
With the boys.
There I am their mother. Because I used to live, I was the only adult that was living there for that time. I was the mother, I was the father, the watchman, and all that. And of course, you have to. Yes. But then we had somebody who was helping in the cooking.
Yes.
And we also had one young man who was like the field worker. So we carry on and we move on with them. And I have, of course, to nurture them to become responsible people.
True.
These are street boys. Street life is completely in them. And it's never so easy. But I'll just talk and maybe say something that really fascinated me at that one time. Now, it came this time when during initiation. Initiation in Meru that time was, those traditionally was a very, very big event. So I never saw any person. Nobody even knew how they behave or anything. And now we come to the time of initiation.
And you are here, you are the one
I'm
with
in
them.
the Kikio culture, whereby boys will go and come and stay with you. And then these boys are taken for initiation and they come. And the following morning, I see him with the hand on the pocket, feeding the rabbits.
Oh my goodness.
I almost closed my eyes. But then you remember that you have to get used to this. You have to understand how the care is taken. For us in Meru, women and girls, our work is to cook and make sure the boys come out when they are strong.
They're strong.
Here now, Florence has to think differently because
feed them.
You have to feed them. You have to, of course, they will come and tell you, sasa unajua zile mambo, maybe akipata shida takuja na kuambia, because I'm the adult there.
Yes.
And then we had grown a relationship in a way that they don't have. Even today,
yes,
the children are very
so
open.
Close to you.
Yeah, they are open and they'll talk.
Yeah.
So this one really was a fascinating time. But somehow I will say that it was a learning time because it was a beginning of a lifetime thing, because it had to happen every year and every year. But I will say that it's something that, those are some of the things that stick in the mind and you have to carry them all through. So now the initiation is over. We have to enroll the children to school and they are big boys. Some of them were not able to go to normal primary schools, but they joined tertiary trainings for that. But some others continued in primary schools. That now was that one was initially when we began. Then, of course, we also say that it was so easy. We had to go to school every other time because these are children who have come from the streets. Street life is in them. Some of them, it is not easy to remove street life from a child.
It takes time.
It takes time, or it may never even really happen as such, depending on where. The place we got those children was, around Marima, the kind of life that was there.
Yeah.
But somehow, I would say that some of them changed. Then we continued
So like
increasing.
how many changed?
Out of the 8, I can say that although some of them have died out of different things, but we have out of the first initial 8, we will count around 3 who I can say at least I know about them. We have lost quite a number, but we have lost among the first 8. We have lost maybe like 3 of them. So you see that it's only like 2 relapsed back to the streets, although different, although a changed street child. Now they are big men, of course, with families.
Yes.
So now, afterwards, we took another bunch of 8 street children. That was in 1996 again. This was 94. Now we took another bunch in 1996. In 1996, we took small children now. These small boys we took in were like now, of course, I want to be their real mother.
Yeah, because those ones now are smaller.
They are small.
Yeah.
I know we used to sleep in my room. They used to sleep in the same bed. Prepare them in the morning for school. They go to school. I would carry some of them on my back and carry on. There was particularly one very small boy, and their mother and just passed on. So we decided to we had taken 2 of his siblings. So we decided to take in the other one, the small one. And the grandmother was not able, but she really wanted. She really didn't. She didn't want to keep the child. She didn't want to give her the child. But then we took the child. For me, it was so natural. I was really wondering why. So we took in the child, and I used to carry him. I used to go with him everywhere. Even when I went to visit my parents, I was with him. And then I really never knew that the grandmother was following us so much to see how the child is. And one time he gave this testimony. I used to come. But then I saw that my grandchild was in very good hands. I would see you carrying him all the time on your back. I would see you go and change him. I would see you do this and that. And she washed her hands. But she was very close, still following up. But then these children, we followed them. Some of them they completed their school. They did their colleges. Some of them went to the university, and they are grown-up children. But then I'll say that the journey is not always smooth, taking care of people. One of those children I said we took in the second bunch, one of them, he does quite well. He went to high school before I became a parent in high school when I was still in my very early 20s.
Yes.
But then he did well. He went to college. He completed college. He became a young man. I know you've met him in Nanyuki one time.
Yes.
Working in those very big hotels.
Yes.
Others are also doing very well. They are carrying on very well. One of them is in Finland right now.
Wow.
Others are doing quite well. But still, you won't find that some are not doing well. But then one thing that I saw as I was working is that when you are bringing up children, it's not just a matter of giving them education and just maybe dressing them, just providing the basic needs. There is more than that. Understanding that child, seeing who they are, nurturing them, empowering them, and helping them to tap the best potential out of themselves. Such that in this way, I found that you'll be able to understand children who are not academicians. Because there are those children who really, like when you find children maybe in institutions like we are in, you find that there is a lot of focus on the child that is so bright. And you forget that even the children that are not so academically bright, they have something in them that you as the caregiver, or you as the mother, you as whoever you are in the life of that child, that it is your responsibility to bring out.
And I think that one you can just look at the camera and just say that, because that is very important.
Yes, what I'm saying is that I'm looking at that parent out there or a caregiver, that children have different potentials. They were created with different potentials. That even if they came out of the womb the same day, maybe either they are, even if they are twins or they are triplets, each one of them has a different potential. And it is your responsibility or my responsibility as the caregiver to help bring out that potential in that child. You have to nurture out that potential of that child. Don't just look at the child that is so much bright and forget that this child who is not bright or an academician has a potential that academician will require. Because the academician requires a technician. And the technician will require somebody there. All of us, every child has a potential that must be brought out. And it is your responsibility, my responsibility to do that. And this one we can do by encouraging that child who is not performing very well in school. You see, there are children who don't perform very well in school, not because they can and they are refusing. It's because God didn't create them to be academicians, but He created them to be something else. And it is your responsibility to bring that something else out of that child. So I would encourage every parent out there, every caregiver out there, don't give up on any child. Don't focus on that child you see is a doctor. Focus even on that plumber. Focus on that cleaner. Because God knew that those cleaners, those plumbers, those electricians will be required in life. I get very discouraged when I see people kind of like either some of people like us who are taking care of other people's children, or even parents, or even teachers, discriminating upon a child who is not getting 100%. But I really always wonder and ask myself, do we as caregivers know that we cannot do without a cleaner in the house?
We have to have everyone.
Do we know that we cannot just assume that you are that doctor and your toilet is blocked and you don't have those people who do that work? Would you live in that house?
No.
So every child, every person who God created, He created with a gift. He created with a potential. And it is our responsibility to enrich that potential from that child. And for me, I would say that in my nurturing journey, I have learned a lot. And I have told myself that it is my responsibility not to discriminate along any child. You never know who that child will become. Look at the people who go and run. And those people who play football, they are very rich. Some of them maybe never even have maybe college certificates and all that. Or even if they have college certificates, it's not that they were too academic. But maybe there's somebody out there who was able to see the potential that was in that particular child, and they nurtured it through. It's unfortunate that in Kenya, maybe we might not really depend on like sports and games, although CBC is coming to support that. But then we must always look and see. Maybe there are people there maybe who got into the wrong careers because they are our parents looked at us and they really wanted us to become those great people. But maybe we were not. They took us and we got spoon-fed. We got maybe very high marks. We went to the universities. Nowadays, maybe we hear there are people who can buy those records and all that. And your child becomes a doctor. And then they go there into the hospital. Maybe they are surgeons. And they go there and maybe they were not trained to be surgeons. Maybe they were electricians. And they go there and work on your body like an electric bulb. And you just die. Oh, because it is we.
So unfortunate.
Yeah. So I really encourage that from the very beginning, let's know who our children are. And when I say our children, they can be our biological children, they can be the children in the community. Who are they?
Identify who they are
from the very beginning and nurture them to be that.